What's up? It's your favorite Northern Belle, aka it's your girl Jor, and welcome back to another episode of So Hear Me Out the podcast. Today we have a very special guest. We have Miss Brittany joining us. Woo! So today we are going to talk about putting out the work. Um, so Brittany, how are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. Thank you for having me. I appreciate you.
Oh, thank you for joining me. You were actually the first person outside of my network, my like direct network that I've ever reached out to. And I was super nervous. I was like, oh
Oh,
gosh, she's gonna be like, no, get away from me, you weirdo.
no, not at all. Not at all.
Yes. So um, we're just going to talk a little bit about your work that you're doing in the 757 and highlighting what you do because I think it's so important. And when I came across your page, I was like, oh my gosh, I
Oh,
love
thank you.
this. So, what exactly is your business, if you would call it that?
Okay, yeah. I mean, we definitely have people that refer to it as a business or like when people call me an entrepreneur. I guess it's kind of odd for me because I don't really associate myself with like those terms. I don't see it as running a business and I don't see myself as an entrepreneur.
Right.
Only just because I think that I associate those words with more like transactional,
Mm-hmm.
types of interactions, which with the 757 community closet, we are not selling anything. Everything is completely free to the community. So basically what the 757 community closet is just part of a mutual aid network, really. It's its own mutual aid organization itself. So we provide hygiene kits and some basic clothing items to unhoused folk. And we also run a free clothing program in primarily based in Norfolk, but we do pop-ups. We try to get into other cities. So that really just consists of bringing like clothing. So that's adults, children, babies, and any type of hygiene products that we have on hand as well. So yeah, everything's like gently used or new. All the hygiene products are new. And yeah, so we just try to provide everybody with a little bit of whatever they need.
Right. I love that. So, how did this get started?
um, so I started, yeah. So, anyways, I rebranded to the 757 Community Closet, but
Mhm.
the organization, it started off as really just something that I enjoyed doing myself. I've always been into community work, but I've always felt like a little socially awkward with like volunteering with other organizations.
Yeah.
So I was just kind of thinking of something like, what can I kind of do on my own, just because I'm like a little bit more introverted and I'm like okay with working as a one woman team. So it's just on my own accord, and I really would just like hand them out whenever I would see unhoused folks in the area. I grew up in the 757, so I kind of know like where people tend to be that are
Okay.
unhoused. So that's how it started. And then once I started posting on my Instagram and kind of just letting people know, like, I know there's other people that like to get involved,
Mhm.
but they might not know how. So I was like, if y'all want to throw me a couple bucks, like, this can kind of be like your contribution and I'll continue to
Yeah.
make the kits.
Right.
So a lot of my friends were like really nice and they just, would send like $5, $10,
Mhm.
whatever. And I would start making the kits from the donations. But as time went on, I was kind of like, okay, maybe this can turn into something. Like maybe I can do this on a larger scale or collect like more donations throughout the community. And yeah, so that's how that started. And then the clothing program, it really just turned into its own thing, like organically. Like people just kept asking me, like, do you know what to do with this stuff? And I'm like, not really, but I'll figure something out.
Right.
So then it kind of just became like me taking on stuff. Like I would sort through the clothing to a certain standard, and then yeah, just redistribute it through the community, basically.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. That's cool.
Yeah.
So growing up, were you like, I know me growing up, it was as long as I can remember, my mom would be like, okay, we have to donate this stuff because you're not using it anymore, but we're not going to trash it because somebody else could use that. Is that how you were brought up too? Or is that just something that you felt like pulled your heartstrings that you wanted to do as you got older?
So yeah, I mean, my mom was definitely always the type of person like, whatever we're not using, we'll take to the Goodwill because My parents weren't super involved in like community work in terms of like mutual aid.
Mhm.
They do a lot of things on their own, but uh, I think that they just the last and have the time research. Things were different back then when you had to like call around for stuff like that.
Right.
So yeah, so like Goodwill was probably like the biggest thing. Goodwill, CHKD, like the thrift stores in Norfolk, like Thrift City and stuff. Yeah, so we were always big on just like bagging everything up that was gently to the store. And growing up, like my mom was a single mom as well, so she shopped at the store. So we've always kind of just been around like secondhand, like nice, gently used things, and I think that's a good way to promote sustainability. And I just think there's enough of everything in the world to have what they need, really, especially when it comes
Right.
to clothes. There's just way too much stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. It's so it's so good to see someone who's just out there doing the work, putting out the work, as I put it, because you're literally just using the resources around you, which I know when I do community service stuff at my job, that it's like a, oh, you want me to give you money kind of thing.
Right.
And people are really, really selfish. They can be really selfish, like, "I'm not gonna do that, I have my own stuff going on." And it's like, "Well, I'm not asking you to give me money, I'm asking you to just go through your closet. You don't wear all the clothes in your closet. Like, you've
Right.
probably had things for years that
Mhm.
you haven't worn, you're just holding on to it to say that you have it. So,
Yeah.
let's get rid of that and make room for something else." Um,
Yeah.
when I did my first community service drive or coat drive that I did at my job, I kept telling them, "You can't receive with a closed fist. Have you ever grabbed anything with your hand closed like this?" Like,
Mhm.
no. So I
Yeah.
need you to be able to give back. And I think that's so important because not even just as an adult, as children, you want kids to see like, okay, giving back is normal, it's good. Like creating and raising good humans is something that I think is super important. So seeing your page and everybody's on social media. So
Mhm.
coming across your page, seeing someone who will, maybe a young kid in the 757 area, is like, oh my gosh, I want to do something like that, like
Yeah.
being that person. And I know you said it's not really a business because it's not transactional, so organization. I was trying to find the right word for it the entire time and I was like, ugh, I don't want to call it the wrong thing.
It's okay. No worries.
Yes, but Brittany, how can we help? How can people in the 757 or people not in the 757 help with the community closet or anything?
Okay. So it's actually kind of I guess like a good opportunity to talk about some of the changes that are gonna go on. And I won't say that they're necessarily like good or bad changes. It's kind of neutral. Like I feel like I've definitely come to a point in my life like where I need to focus a little bit more on myself.
Mhm.
So I've made the decision to end the clothing program at the end of the year.
Oh, wow.
So I will have other community resources that I'm still able to provide people with, and
Mhm.
I'm sure at some point in time I'll still be the point of collecting things just because like I see things and I'm like, okay, I know someone could use this, so let me pass it off.
Right.
But the clothing program as a whole will definitely be either on hold, but ending at the
Mhm.
end of the year. Yeah, just because I need a little bit more time to dedicate to myself. And
Yeah.
yeah, so right now a good way to help the community closet is definitely through donations, monetary. Like you were saying, I know that most of the time it's like you already have, which we have no problem with. Like if people
Mhm.
have extra hygiene products that are unopened, or resources, like I have some friends that are dental hygienists, so sometimes
Mm.
they can get a hold of like toothbrushes and the small toothpaste, like things like that. It really doesn't have to be anything. Everything makes a difference.
Right.
But yeah, just donating, either monetary donations or picking some stuff up at Dollar Tree, or shopping our Amazon wish list. Those are three great things that people could do to help support our work.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I know you said the community closet will be ending soon at the end of the year, which it's sooner than we think, but it also has a lot of time for people to do what they want to do and start helping out where they can.
Yeah.
Um what would you say is in the next chapter for you as far as your organization and community service wise?
So we definitely will still continue to focus on kids. I want to keep that running for as long as I possibly can. I mean, I plan to do kits, whether it's community funded or something I feel really strongly about with COVID hitting and all that's going on in this area, especially like Norfolk and Portsmouth. There's just a lot of people that need help.
Mhm.
So I will always be, wanting to support that and encouraging other people to support that. So I don't want to say that community closet is ending as a whole, but just more so like, we're kind of we're moving on from the clothing closet, which is
Okay.
okay. And then we'll be a provider as we have been. So community wise, I mean, I do still plan to be out here like supporting. I have a lot of different friends in the community, and
Mhm.
I've been able to see them work and grow. And a lot of them I've met through doing this work. So I plan to be intentional about supporting their work and the other community events that are going on. Um, so yeah, so I'm still out here. I'm still
Yeah.
out here doing what I do, especially like, in the community and with the resources and being on the ground, but it'll just look a little different. I just may not act that.
Ooh, I'm sorry, I didn't catch the last part. The thing the
Oh,
break.
it's okay. No, I just said I'll still be out here, but I just may not be as active like at events and things like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's super good. I mean, we want the best out of people, right? So you being burnt out or not fully feeling like yourself wouldn't really be beneficial to what you're trying to do in the community or what you are doing in the community. So we want the best Brittany that
Yeah.
we can have. So I definitely understand. So I can't wait to see what comes next. But what so far, what has been inspiring you? As far as what you do or, taking care of yourself, like, what's been inspiring you?
I mean, a lot of the people that I work with are just
Mhm.
really inspiring. The people I work with in the community, like seeing how much of themselves that they put into it, all things that can be accomplished when people come together for a
Mhm.
common goal. That's been really inspiring, especially because I met so many people through this work that I don't know that I would have met otherwise.
Right.
So that's been a really beautiful experience for me. But other than that, I mean, it's really just seeing like the interactions that I get to have with people when people get what they need, or when they're actually surprised that someone followed through. You.
Yeah.
It just really warms my heart to see people, like I said, have what they need, especially because there's just so much in the world to go around. So
Yeah.
yeah.
That's awesome. So what resources are available to people who are looking for the help or looking to help?
So there's a lot of volunteer opportunities, especially when it comes to. So I'm part of a network called the Mutual Network of Hampton Roads.
Mhm.
So that includes quite a few different organizations out here. If anyone wants to follow, we are Cusp. They're always posting things mostly surrounding either like social justice,
Mm.
gun violence awareness, and also they do a lot of service projects, so that's why I would definitely recommend that, just because they go out and they'll do like trash pickup and things like that.
Okay.
So that's a really good organization to get involved with. And then they collaborate with other organizations, so you can meet so many other people that might have an answer towards what you're looking for.
Yeah.
um yeah, like Teens with a Purpose, that's another great organization. VIP, that's a friend of mine's organization. So yeah, there's a lot of them out here. I could even send you like, some handles to post just
Oh,
to
yeah,
tag different
please.
people. Yeah, because there's a lot of opportunities just to get involved, like whether it's at their events, like I said, the trash pickup. And as far as resources go, like, there's nothing that we can really guarantee in terms of housing, just because housing is so
Mm.
cool here, but we will try to do the best we can to help out with that. Um, but yeah, there's other organizations that provide clothing. We can always point people to the right direction in terms of trying to get like SNAP. visiting food banks. So yeah, it's what people spend.
Okay. So what would you say to that young person who is looking for a way to get started, a way to better their community and how they should get started if you had any tips for them?
Oh, that's a good question. I mean, honestly, I think that being willing to help a couple of different organizations out and just trying out like one of the service projects that they have kind of lets you know, like, who you're going to vibe with, what kind of work you're actually interested in.
Mhm.
Because at the end of the day, like every organization is kind of geared to helping like a certain population. So
Right.
if you can get in there and what you feel passionate about, what's sparking, your interest. I think
Mhm.
that's a good way to start. But yeah, I think really just, especially looking for those grassroots organizations, the ones who really need the help and the volunteers to
Mhm.
spread the word. I think that's important. So it's hard to know exactly where to start, but I suppose that if you're on Instagram, you can pretty much find
Mhm.
anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think, that's a lot of the ways that we're all connected. So, yeah, I think just not being afraid to try just to see it for you. And if not, then volunteering is a good way to get experience because you're not really locking yourself into anything. You're just like, okay, I'm here to help for the day.
Yeah.
And yeah, and then you just get to go from there.
Yeah, it's like a come as you go, like come as you please, pretty much. Come and go as you please. I'm here to help out, and it's not a
Right.
commitment. I don't have to keep showing up, but I'm here. This
Yeah,
one
exactly.
time.
Like, hey, I did this for one day, but that was one day's worth of help, and then you keep it moving if it doesn't, really spark your interest. But I think that community work is a great way to find out more about yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, would you say that this organization and all the work that you've been putting out has helped you become a little more extroverted?
I eh, yeah, it's like I don't really know how I even feel about those words
Ah.
in a sense because it's like introverted, extroverted. I do view myself as more of an introverted person, just naturally. That's kind of how I've always been.
Right.
But I don't think it was necessary that I didn't have the capability to be extroverted. You know what I mean? Because
Mhm.
I've always worked in jobs that required me to be, I guess, like a people person,
Mhm.
interacting with a lot of people, a lot of different personalities. But I will say that I think it may not have changed like my level of wanting to socialize, but it's changed and it's helped me grow in the sense that like I'm not as afraid to like speak up or speak out. Like
Mhm.
I feel like I have more of a voice where I'm not as scared to just reach out to people because I'm like, okay, the worst they're gonna say is no. Like, and that just is what it is.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's taught me a lot about just being able to just, I don't know, just not be afraid to ask.
Yeah.
Yeah.
'Cause, I mean, the fear of rejection is huge, when you think about, like, romantically, even in
Mhm.
job opportunities,
Yeah.
things like that. The fear of being told no, honestly, just the fear itself is what stops people from doing a lot of stuff versus the actual being told no. Because sometimes no is not right now or not this, because you just don't know until you, jump over that hurdle. So I
Yeah.
think that's super beneficial. Like I said, I jumped over a hurdle reaching out.
Yeah,
Definitely.
exactly.
Definitely the fear of being like, "Girl, no, I don't wanna do that." Like, "Okay, thank you," at least hearing me. So I
Yeah.
think that's big. Baby steps. So I think, um if anybody is interested in doing something like this, not necessarily this specifically, but reaching out and
Mhm.
doing more in their community or even speaking up, like you said, um, that first jump is gonna be the hardest part. But I think after that, there's no going back. Like once you get like your legs up under you, you'll be just fine to go
Yeah,
into something like
absolutely. I
that.
think that, like I definitely know that there's certain things that just aren't for everyone. And I
Mhm.
think that that's the beautiful thing about community work at the forefront, or you can be the person in the back, or, you can just be the connection. Like there's so many different ways to help in your community that don't look like you being the person to go out and do every single thing. Like,
Mhm.
it's just being a person who collects a lot of information and resources, like that's still helpful too, because
Yeah.
there's so many things out here in the 757 that people don't know about. And especially because I think that historically, like honestly, I think we're a little behind, like when it comes to
Mm.
resources and things like that. So the more people know, the more that they're able to share. And yeah, so it doesn't really have to be you that's going out and doing, you know what I mean? Like whatever it is that gets you put on TV. Because that's
Right.
another thing too, like public speaking. I still don't think I'm the best public speaker, but there have been a lot of opportunities for me to like be recorded,
Mhm.
do interviews, like, and I'm just kind of like, okay, that's not really something I ever saw myself doing. Like, I don't like public speaking. I don't really like it to be all about me, um, but it helps to know, or it helps when you know what you're talking about, I guess.
Right.
Like you're talking about your own organization, so it's like what could really go wrong? Like you know what you do every day. So
Right.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, um, Brittany, this is the part that we were talking about.
Yes.
You've heard me out, and I've asked you all the questions that I have. So, what do you want to tell the people? So, hear you out.
Okay. So I have a donor appreciation day coming up on September 3rd. So if anyone is familiar with Live 30, it's typically a bar at night. So I know a lot of people have been there for the nightlife scene. But there's an upstairs portion of it, and we'll be having like a small little donor day up there, where basically a bunch of, I don't want to say a bunch, but several local chefs have curated like their own little meals, and
Oh,
they'll be boxing them up, and we'll be passing them out to donors. And then a portion of the meals will be given out to the like downtown Ghent area. So I really just want to get the word out about that, because even if someone hasn't been a donor, and then donor can qualify as anything. So that's like if you've donated monetary donations, just something you had around your house, clothing, whatever. We definitely want you to come out and just grab a meal and just say hello.
mm,
But even if you haven't donated, I would still encourage people just to come out, grab it. I'm sure there's going to be plenty of food, so I just want to encourage people to really come and meet me, and even take one for an unhoused person if they want to. Yeah,
yeah.
it's just a good opportunity to just connect. And yeah, so that's from 12 to 3 um, on September 3rd. I'm trying to think about what else. I really don't have too much coming up, because I've really just been trying to like pump the brakes on a lot of things
Yeah,
to,
no, completely understand.
yeah, just to give time to breathe, especially because and we're rolling into fall, so I'm kind of just trying to like wind down with that too.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I mean, really the best way to help us right now, like I said, shop the Amazon wish list,
Mm,
send us $5, whatever it is, goes to a good cause. So
yeah. And what was the name of the venue you said for the donor appreciation?
that was Slow Dive.
Slow Dive. Alrighty.
Yeah. So
Oh,
it's
yeah.
like between getting downtown.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alrighty. I am
Yeah.
not originally from Norfolk, but I've been there long enough to be able to find where I'm going. And worst case scenario, that's what we have maps for.
Yeah, I was about to
So
say, I mean, because yeah, even if you wanted to pop out for it, the post is on my Instagram. So yeah,
okay.
it has like address, time, all that good stuff. I've been wanting to send it out individually to our donors, but I have not come around to the time for that. So I'm really trying to do my best to just, push out the information on as many platforms as possible. But, you know, I'm doing my best.
Yeah, no, completely understand. Well, Brittany, I want to thank you for your time and for sitting down with me. This was awesome. Typically I tell people something to comment if they're watching on YouTube, something to comment down below. So
Okay.
guys, if you enjoyed and listened this far, um, give us a comment down below of some type of community service organizations that you guys have near you, or any things like that that might be super beneficial for others that want to get involved. All righty. Well, that's it for me. You guys can find Brittany on her socials at
757 community closet, real short and simple.
And I will have it linked down below, guys. So it's been real, and we'll catch you guys for another one next Friday. Bye.
Thank you.